Hi everyone and welcome to English for You. I'm Pat.
And I'm Mike.
So Mike, have you ever visited Buckingham Palace or Windsor Castle for that matter?
I visited both of the places, yes,
Right.
but never actually been invited in by the Queen for
didn't
tea
stay the night?
No,
Okay.
I never got to do that. My parents did, though. They actually met the Queen and went into the palace a couple of times, so that was kind of neat, but I just heard about it from them over breakfast the next day.
Oh, well.
Yeah. How about you?
I've been into the grounds of Buckingham Palace and the shop, but they weren't doing any tours when I was there. I've been past Windsor Castle in Windsor, driven sort of around it and went to a restaurant nearby. It's my one visit to Windsor.
Oh, really? Okay.
But, yeah, of course, that is where the Queen lives and members of her family. And we're talking about that to kick off a couple of days of interesting, fun facts about the Queen. So we're going to start with one. Let's read through day one of this article and see what there is to know.
Reading.
Fun facts. This month is one of Queen Elizabeth's birthdays. But which birthday is it? That may sound like a confusing question. After all, you can only be born on one day, right? While that may be true, the head of the British royal family can surely break a rule or two. Her Majesty was born on April 21st, so that's the date of her first birthday. However, she actually has another birthday. Her official birthday occurs on the second Saturday of every June. June's nicer weather is usually better for holding outdoor events to celebrate Her Majesty's birthday. One of the main events of this birthday is a parade called Trooping the Colour. For large parts of Trooping the Colour, all eyes are fixed firmly upon the Queen. Needless to say, it wouldn't be desirable if some sudden wind caused an embarrassing wardrobe malfunction. In order to prevent this from happening, the Queen's tailors came up with a smart solution. Each outfit has a couple of small lead curtain weights sewn into it. These weights make sure the Queen looks great in any weather.
So the article begins, and of course this is June, our June issue. This month, June, is one of Queen Elizabeth's birthdays. One of Queen Elizabeth's birthdays.
Yes.
But which birthday is it?
Yeah, that's a good point. It's funny, I was just talking to some people and I said, well, she has two birthdays. And people kind of, what? Yeah, the Queen has more than one birthday. And as the article says, that may sound like a confusing question when someone says, which of your birthdays is it? Well, most people only have one, so you wouldn't be asking about which of them, because that gives you the idea that there's more than one. Well, we're not the Queen of England.
That's true.
That's one big point.
Yeah. Well, the article does explain why it's confusing. After all, you can only be born on one day, right?
Right.
What if you were like being born just before midnight and then you actually kind of were fully born after midnight? Which day?
I guess it's when you're 100% out.
Right, okay.
So it might be like 12:01 the next morning.
That's the birthday.
Or something. And I mean, it avoids, we don't have to sing happy birthdays to you. That would be weird too.
So that sentence used the phrase after all, and after all is used to mean taking the following facts into account, and it explains the previous sentence or idea. It kind of adds more details. So yes, this is confusing, taking the fact into account that nobody has two birthdays. Nobody is born on 2 days. Does that mean she's twice as old as everyone?
Ooh, that's a good question. Yeah, if you have two birthdays, every year you get 2 years older.
Weird.
You get 2 cakes, you get 2 sets of presents, 2 parties. So 2 years, well, no.
No, it doesn't work like that.
They still measure it by how many times you go around the sun. The article says, well, that may be true. Most people only have one birthday. While that may be true, the head of the British royal family can surely break a rule or two.
Oh, yeah.
They have a point there, yes. If you're the head of the royal family, the British or any other royal family, you can probably break a rule or two. Here we're using this adjective royal because we're talking about the Queen of England. If we talk about kings and queens, even princes and princesses, the children of a king or a queen, we would use the adjective royal. They are royal people, they have royal homes, there are royal holidays, royal weddings, all sorts of things like that. We talk about that group of people, the whole family, as royalty. Put a ty on the end, and that's the noun we would use to talk about anyone who is in a royal family. They are royalty or they are royal. For example, Prince Charles and Lady Diana Spencer's wedding was the first royal wedding to be shown live on TV. And I guess Harry and Meghan, that was the last royal wedding.
Yeah, I don't think there's been one since.
No, not on TV.
No. So we are now going to explain the idea of the Queen having two birthdays.
Yeah, how does that work?
The article says Her Majesty was born on April 21st. So that's the date of her first birthday.
There she is, little baby Elizabeth.
Yeah, and we address her here as Her Majesty. And saying Her Majesty, His Majesty, or if you're talking to them, Your Majesty, this is the proper way to address a ruling king or queen. And it does have the uppercase letters both on Majesty and on His and Her. For other members of the royal family, you would use His Highness, Your Highness, Her Highness. But Majesty is for the ruler, the top dog.
Okay, so not Queen or Queenie or Liz or Lizzie.
Yeah.
You don't use those terms when you're meeting the Queen of England. Of course, back to the article, it says, however, she actually has another birthday. So she was actually born on April 21st. That's when she came into the world, but she has another birthday.
Right. The article explains her official birthday occurs on the second Saturday of every June. So it's a different day each year.
Okay.
It's just the second time there's a Saturday.
Okay.
And that's the official one, which kind of means the one that the entire country will recognize and celebrate.
I see.
But why then?
Well, there's a good reason for that. June's nicer weather is usually better for holding outdoor events to celebrate Her Majesty's birthday. Remember, she is the Queen of England, Queen of Britain, not the Queen of California or southern France, where the weather is always nice. In April in Britain, it often rains.
Same with June, to be honest.
Well, that's a good point. But it's definitely going to be more rainy quite often during April. And so doing something outdoors would be difficult. So yeah, there we were talking about outdoor events, doing something when it's raining. You don't want to have an outdoor event on a rainy day because outdoor, this adjective means outside. You're out in nature. You're not in a building. You're not in a room. You don't have a ceiling or a roof over your head. You have the sky over your head and maybe rain falling on your head if you're doing something out in an outdoor area or outdoors. We can put an S on there to turn it into a noun. It just means outside. For example, every weekend there is an outdoor market under this bridge. So a market not inside a building, but outside in nature.
So that's the Queen's official birthday,
Right.
the big party one.
Yes.
And we see in the article, one of the main events of this birthday is a parade called Trooping the Colour. And you'll notice we spelled colour with a U in the article there. That's the British English spelling. I believe you guys in Canada also keep the U in. Good on you.
Yep.
So that's why it's spelled like that. And it is a parade. Trooping the Colour is a parade. And a parade is this kind of ceremony where a formation, a group of people, usually soldiers, will march before a superior officer. They might march for the general, they might march for the Queen, because she is, I think, the head of the armed forces, I think
so. Yeah.
like as a figurehead.
Yeah.
You could have just a parade of students in front of their headmaster.
You could do that
or something
too, sure.
like that. Yeah, the head teacher, the principal. But you walk from one place to another, usually down one or two big long roads, and people will gather and watch it, and it's done to kind of mark an occasion,
Right.
celebrate something. For example, Taiwan celebrates its National Day every year with a military parade in front of the president's office. So soldiers, tanks, planes flying over, and all the rest.
That kind of parade, yeah, absolutely. Let's go back to the article. It says, for large parts of Trooping the Color, all eyes are fixed firmly upon the Queen. Yes, she will actually be there. The soldiers will wear their red coats and their big fur hats like you see them wear in pictures. And of course, if you're the Queen, anywhere you go, outside in the public, all eyes are fixed on you or upon you. When we use this phrase, basically we mean everyone is watching you, everyone is paying attention to you. It could be a person. Anytime a movie star might go out in public, oh, look, it's a movie star, and everyone around is watching them. Or it could be something that's going on. If there's a fireworks festival, you know, everyone's looking up and all eyes are fixed on the sky and the beautiful lights and things like that. So yeah, when the Queen goes to the tribute, she used to ride a horse in like a proper military uniform. I think now she's a bit older, so she rides in a carriage. And I was at my birthday's actually at the beginning of June, so I got to go to that one year.
Wow.
It was really neat.
Cool.
Yeah.
So it is outside, which means the weather can play a part.
True.
So as the article says, needless to say, it wouldn't be desirable if some sudden wind caused an embarrassing wardrobe malfunction. We have a lot of words and phrases to look at in this sentence. Let's start now with this phrase, needless to say. So we use needless to say as a conjunction or a transition phrase to show that whatever follows is something that should be obvious to everyone. It's easy to say it and easy to see it. We can also use the phrase in another way, or a similar phrase, sad to say. So sad to say, we couldn't make it to the party. It's a sad thing to say it. Here's another way to use needless to say. Needless to say, the stronger guy won the race in the end. Of course he did. It's obvious he would win. So we're saying obviously it would not be desirable if this particular thing happened.
Okay, a strong wind and a wardrobe malfunction.
Ooh.
I'm imagining that would not be desirable, especially not for the Queen. Something desirable though, well, that might be different, because if it's desirable, this adjective means it's something that you want. To desire something is to want something, maybe quite strongly, right? So if there's a desirable thing around you or being offered to you, you would say, yes, please, because that's great. I desire that. It's something I would want. It's something attractive, we might also say. But if it's not desirable or undesirable, you do not want that type of thing. But let's talk about a good thing, something desirable. For example, this house is expensive because it's in a very desirable part of town. It's a lovely part of town, lots of parks and cool little shops, restaurants. It's in a beautiful area of this city. It's a desirable area. So that would be good. But having something embarrassing happen to you, that's not desirable for anyone.
Exactly.
Especially the Queen of England.
Exactly, because the word embarrassing is something that embarrasses you. It causes you to feel shamed. You don't want anyone to look at you. You just want to dive into a hole in the ground and never come out, okay? For example, it was really embarrassing when Trevor called his teacher Mom, because everybody went, ha ha, you called the teacher Mom. He just wanted to disappear from the face of the earth. It was very embarrassing. And what's embarrassing here, and for many people, is a wardrobe malfunction.
Okay, this is kind of a modern term, a wardrobe malfunction. Your wardrobe, that's your clothes. And a malfunction is when something goes wrong. All right, so something goes wrong with your clothes. Think of maybe you stand up and then suddenly your pants fall down because your belt breaks or something like that. That's the kind of thing we're talking about here. Something goes wrong with your clothes and you probably show parts of your body that you don't really want to or shouldn't really show, especially out in public in front of a bunch of people. So anything kind of like that goes wrong with your clothes and you show off parts of your body, that would be a wardrobe malfunction. It's a good way of kind of covering a lot of embarrassing stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Just say, oh, I had a wardrobe malfunction and I embarrassed myself. It was a very embarrassing situation. So, we imagine the Queen's there. She's a lady. She wears a dress.
Yep.
If a wind came along,
oh my goodness,
it could blow the dress in ways that she doesn't want, and we would see the royal underwear. Which would be embarrassing.
Yes.
I would be embarrassed to see that. Oh, poor Queen. Oh, dear.
But that doesn't happen, and there's a reason why. We see in the article that in order to prevent this from happening, the Queen's tailors came up with a smart solution.
Okay, so she doesn't have soldiers just there
holding
her
them
dress.
down. No,
Okay.
no. She has tailors. A tailor is a person who makes clothes. And not just like in a factory kind of clothes. You would go there, they would measure you, they would take everything and say, what do you want it made of, what color, how thick, and all the rest. Then they would make you that set of clothes that was for you and no one else. We call it making this to order.
Right.
So a tailor is somebody who would make your own set of personal clothes just for you.
That's right. We also use it as a verb, right?
Right.
To tailor your
some
clothes.
Yeah. Here's an example with the noun. Davy had to go back to the tailor to get his pants shortened. They were too long, and he got the tailor just to take them up a little so he wouldn't keep treading on them.
All right. So the tailors, the Queen's tailors, who are probably some of the best, if not the best in London, or certainly in Britain maybe even, they came up with an amazing solution for her. All right, if you come up with something, that's basically the same thing as saying you invent something. You create something. There was nothing there before. You had an idea and you say, I'm going to do this, and you're the first person to do it. Well done. You're a very creative person. You have invented something, or to use this phrasal verb, you have come up with something.
And what is this solution?
I don't know, but I'm sure it's very clever.
Well, here it is. We see in the article, each outfit has a couple of small lead curtain weights sewn into it.
Really?
So a curtain weight is the thing that holds a curtain down and stops it blowing. It's made of lead, a fairly soft but quite heavy metal, and they just put that in her outfits to hold them down so the wind can't move them. An outfit is a set of clothes. It's not just one polo shirt or one pair of pants or something. It's the whole set of clothes, everything from shoes to a hat, and it's often designed to be worn together. You might have one outfit which is everything, or you say I'm going to mix and match, so I'll take these pants with these shirt, and that creates a whole new outfit.
That's right. Yeah.
There we go. And these ones have weights sewn into them.
Right. We talked about tailors, people who make clothes. Well, one of the main things that you would do to make clothes is to sew things. Right? You basically take a needle with some thread, and then you have some fabric, some cloth, and you cut it, and then you join it together. So the sewing part is basically the joining together of different parts of the clothing to make, different parts of the fabric or cloth to make the whole piece of clothing, all right? Where you can see those lines where they have the little bits of thread around the arms or the bottom of your pants or holding the legs together. All of that are the places where they have sewn different parts. And yes, S-E-W-N, that would be the past tense of the word sew, the verb sew. For example, we could say
somebody has sewn the shirt together, for example.
Yeah, absolutely.
And medical doctors, they will use sewing as well. They will need to sew up. If you've got a really bad cut, they would sew it together.
And of course, we have a sewing machine.
Yes.
That's the one that does it for you. Or you can have things sewn by hand using just your hand and a needle.
Okay, well, that's how they do it. They just sew a couple of weights into the pocket
very
or something.
Clever.
Yeah.
Very clever.
And as the article says, these weights make sure the Queen looks great in any weather. To make sure that something happens is to do something so there will be a certain result. You've kind of done it the right way to make sure, to guarantee that nothing will go wrong. So if you want to get a good grade, you need to make sure that you study hard. That should get you the good grade. We've got some more to talk about the Queen in tomorrow's part 2 of the article, but right now we're going to go to our For You chat question.
For You chat.
So the chat question asks us to talk about other kings or queens you know about, and do you know any interesting facts about them? Oh, well, I think you know a lot of history.
I do.
know a reasonable amount of history.
Okay, do you have some good king and queen facts for us while I try to think of some other kings and queens we can talk about?
Well, let's see. You go with William I, William the Conqueror.
Okay.
Burst open after he died.
He burst. Oh, right.
They were laying him down in his coffin and it burst open and it all smelled very bad.
Wow, that is a very smelly
disgusting fact.
That is a very smelly and disgusting fact about William the Conqueror.
Yep. There are plenty of course, everyone said, Henry VIII of England.
Yep.
How many wives did he have?
6.
Yep, he had 6 wives. 2 divorced, 2 he killed, had their heads chopped off.
Yep.
1 just died, and the other survived.
That's right. And the first one was actually his brother's wife before he married her.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And he in fact created an entirely new kind of religion just to divorce her.
He did.
Yeah.
But he also was one of the first people to make tennis popular.
There you go.
So there you go. He did something not so weird in his life.
So much to talk about with the kings and queens of England. We don't have time for any more. We're going to go back to Queen Elizabeth II tomorrow, so join us for that. Bye for now.
Take care.
Vocabulary Review.
Royal. Only around 15 countries are still ruled by a royal leader. Most of the rest have presidents or other governments. Outdoor. There's always the chance that an outdoor event will be cancelled if there's a big rainstorm. Parade. The military parade marched in front of the president's home in honor of the country's national holiday. Desirable. It would be desirable to live in a quieter place. I wish I had enough money to move. Embarrassing. Steve had an embarrassing moment when he got Louise's name wrong and called her Lucy. Tailor. My favorite coat has a big hole on the side, so I'll take it to a tailor to be repaired.
智慧小补帖
Her Majesty, Your Majesty, His Majesty. Wardrobe malfunction. Outfit. Sew.
以上节目是由活用空中美语制作。活用空中美语杂志，请洽询全国各大书店。如欲索取试听教材，请来电02-2364-4000 02-2364-4000，或上网查询，网址是 www.english4u.net www.english4u.net